Sir, can we start?
Yes, Dipali, let's start.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. It's truly sad. ना हारना जरूरी है, ना जीतना जरूरी है. ये जिंदगी एक खेल है, उसे खेलना जरूरी है. With the same motive, I, Professor Sarosh Dastoor, from Electronics and Communication Department, wishes good morning to one and all present for the creative, ingenious and resourceful event linking the Unlinked Innovation Challenge launching webinar. It is organized by SSIP Cell, that is Student Startup and Innovative Policy of SCET, in association with Innovate4India. For the same, may I request Professor Dipali Kasar, the SSIP Cell Coordinator, SCET, for the welcome address. Ma'am, please.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. To promote student-centric innovation and pre-incubation ecosystem, SSIP Cell was formed at SCET under the wings of Government of Gujarat in May 2019. SSIP Cell provides a funding support of 50 lakhs per year to the students for filing patents and registering their startups. On behalf of SCET and SSIP Cell, I welcome Amit Kalra Sir, Changemaker Innovate4India, and Divya Kalra Ma'am, co-founder Innovate4India. Innovate4India is a community-driven enterprise registered as a not-for-profit in India. It provides crowdsourcing platform to solve pressing challenges of our nation. To enhance the footsteps of Make in India, SSIP Cell, SCET, in association with Innovate4India, are connecting the design engineering students with the gigantic change makers in India. All you have to do is to ideate to link the unlinked through the power of internet. All the students submitting innovative idea for linking the unlinked challenge will get a participation certificate. Divya ma'am will explain the challenge details in a short while. I'm pleased to welcome Mr. Aniket Doigar, co-founder and CEO at Haq Darshak. Haq Darshak believes that every citizen matters and thus provides a tech platform for empowering citizens both in rural and urban areas to access what is rightfully theirs. Sir will be telling more about Haq Darshak. And now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to our guests. Welcome, sir. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Moving to our dignitaries present today, one of them is the member of executive management team at Hilti Manufacturing India, a subsidiary of Europe-based multinational Hilti Group. He has had an intense corporate career across some of the large engineering companies of the world, including Hilti, Umicore, and Infineon, and has held leadership positions internationally. Having the background of a chemical engineer, his life purpose is to build caring and high-performing organizations. So presenting before you Mr. Amit Kalra for his graceful talk, Ambition to Vision. Mr. Please.
Thank you, Dipali Ben, and thank you, Mr. Sarosh, for the wonderful introduction. So I'll start with an introduction of, or rather, a process called a process of vision development. Let me share my screen first, and then we can go from there. Let me know once you are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, great. So what we did was we asked you to participate in the survey. Okay, so I think you are the students of computer science, computer engineering, IT, and electronics and communication. And in the survey, we asked you a couple of questions. The questions were, hey, what do you want to do after your, after you complete your graduation? Do you want to start your own startup? You already have an idea? Or are you looking for an idea for your startup? You want to work in a company after your graduation? You want to join the family business? You want to pursue your master's? And the numbers are the statistics is quite interesting. So roughly about 40% of you say that you want to start your own business. And out of 40%, 10% of you already have an idea. And about 30% of you are looking for an idea, which is a phenomenal number. When I used to study when I was in BE, we did not have these numbers. This was in 1997 to 2001. At that time, everybody wanted to pursue masters or work in a company. So I'm pleasantly surprised to see that the young Indian minds are actually oriented towards starting their own enterprises rather than becoming employees in another organization, which is phenomenal. Because if you start your own organization, you also generate your own. So that's good. Now, what is needed is if you want to do your own startup and or even work in a company, what you need is a vision instead of an ambition. Ambition is fine. Ambition could be about just starting the business. Ambition could be about finding a great job. Ambition could be about going to US. Ambition could be about going to Germany. Whatever. But vision as a process is something different. So what we'll do is we'll explore now the meaning of the word vision through two examples. So what I'll do is I'll ask you a quiz. Okay, you have to name these people. There are two people in India who are linking the rickshaw drivers to the potential of internet. What are their names? If you know the answers, you have to write in the chat box. There are two people who are linking the rickshaw drivers to the potential of internet. What are their names? Okay. Wonderful. So you say Jugnu. A lot of people say Jugnu, a lot of people say Ola. A few people say Uber. Fantastic. So these two people are actually known as Samar Singla and Chinmay Agarwal. Now, why I'm giving you this example is because I want to explain you what is the meaning of the word vision. Okay, and vision largely means to see. I mean, what do you have in your human system to see? You have two eyes and a mind to see, and each two eyes and the mind has a capability to see different things. And that's what Samar Singla and Chinmay Agarwal saw. What they saw was, they saw rickshaw drivers and rickshaw commuters. So they saw that there is a long queue of rickshaw drivers waiting for passengers, and passengers are searching for rickshaw sitting at their home, and they can't find a rickshaw. So what they did was, they did the linking job. Okay, so they created this application, wonderful application called Jugnu, which I personally use myself quite a lot, and they brought a change for the rickshaw driver community. And what was the change? The rickshaw drivers who joined Jugnu, they were eventually able to see a certain increase in income. They became more efficient. Their idle time reduced. A typical monthly income for a driver associated with Jugnu is between 8,000 rupees and can reach up to 25,000 rupees for motivated drivers. And Jugnu currently is handling, I mean, ignore the Corona period. Corona has done a lot of damage, but without Corona, Jugnu was handling about 40,000 daily commuters. 3.5 million registered users are there in Jugnu. I am one of them. I have downloaded Jugnu app on my phone. And 12,000 auto rickshaw drivers in more than 40 cities across the country are there. So this is the first example. The second example is, name the organization that is soon to become as big as India Post in terms of the number of employees. There's one organization in India that is soon to become as big as India Post in terms of number of employees, both on the roll as well as contracted employees. And this organization is also in the delivery business. India Post is also delivering. They're delivering post or courier. And this organization is also in the delivery business. They are linking the unlinked to the potential of internet. What is the name of this organization? Okay. So somebody says Amazon, Dunzo, what else? Other names? Flipkart, Jio. Okay, let me give you a hint. This organization that is soon to become as big as India Post is also in the delivery business, but they deliver food. They deliver food. Dhruv Kelawala, first guy to answer, Swiggy, correct. Excellent. So this organization is indeed called Swiggy, and this was founded by Sriharsha, Rahul and Nandan. And again, to put the perspective of, hey, what does the word vision mean? Vision means to see. And what they saw was, people wanted good quality, wide variety of food at their doorstep. Without going to the restaurant, people needed good food at home, at their doorstep. And in addition, what they saw was, if this organization would come into existence, a lot of delivery boys would get employment. Okay. And this is a wonderful example of that, where the needs of the middle and the upper middle class have created 2 lakh plus jobs for the bottom of the pyramid population of India. And Swiggy is the great example of linking the unlinked to the potential of internet. And what is interesting is, such models cater to both. It satisfies the needs of the middle class people of India, the upper middle class people of India, the rich people of India in terms of needing the food at their doorstep, as well as the relatively poor people, because poor people can, even without any skill set, you can become a delivery boy. And India has a very large population of people that does not have the right skill set to do any other jobs. Okay? The only skill set required to be a Swiggy delivery boy is that you should know how to ride a scooter or a motorcycle. That's all. Nothing more is needed. And this is a good example of an inclusive model. And such is the power of potential of internet. So wonderful example here. Now coming back to the definition of the word vision. See, vision means to see how things are happening with people on earth and fundamentally change the way things happen with them. And in both the examples, both the Swiggy as well as the previous example, Jugnu, what they saw is that things were happening with people on earth in a certain way. And what they said is, hey, we want to change it. We want to change the way things happen with these people on earth. And they actually did. They walked on the path of, they saw a vision, which was a very large, long-term vision. In the short term, they are all making losses, but the vision is very large. And they are fundamentally changing the way things happen with them. And the change that you create must bring new value to people. That is what the word vision actually means. Okay, now looking at the two examples, if you look at the definition of vision, I've broken the definition into two parts. Well, the first is to see how things are happening with people on earth. Okay, so in the first example, people want rickshaw at their doorstep when they need it, and rickshaw drivers spend a lot of time waiting for customers on rickshaw stand and doing idle rides, and sometimes also doing idle rides. They have to go to the airport in Surat. They will come back, so maybe sometimes idle if there is no flight landing at the same time. Okay, which is what the founders of Jugnu saw, and therefore they created a wonderful application called Jugnu. They fundamentally changed the way things happen with them. Now today, sitting at home, I'm able to order a rickshaw. The rickshaw comes in less than 5 minutes. I take the rickshaw and I go wherever I want to go. Very simple. Even the payment process has been done very easy. You pay using Paytm and all that. Okay. In the second example of Swiggy, the founders saw that the urban people need good and diverse food at their doorstep, and at the bottom of the pyramid, people need jobs. Right? And they said, hey, let's change this. Their vision, they saw a certain vision. They created Swiggy. And as a result of creation of Swiggy, they fundamentally changed the way things happen with people on earth. Today, before Swiggy or Zomato, getting food from a wide variety of restaurants was not possible. You can only order food from restaurants which deliver food at home. Those who are near to your home, only they would deliver. Right? So with all this, now it has become very easy for us to order food. So now the question is what is your vision? Okay? When you are embarking on this journey of linking the Unlinked Innovation Challenge, the first step for you is to define your own vision, similar to what Swiggy did, similar to what Zomato is doing, similar to what other organizations are doing, similar to what Jugnu is doing. And the first question to you is, which unlinked community of India do you want to link to the potential of internet? See, now most of the educated people in India, they are using internet to a very high potential. We are practically finding jobs using internet. We are practically finding admissions in US sitting in India using internet. We are able to sell our goods online. We are able to sell our services online. We are able to network online. We are able to seek information online. We are even able to make our health better these days online. A lot of new health applications are coming up right now. Right? So we are able to create a lot of opportunities for us using internet. But then there are a lot of communities in India who are not able to do that, especially the communities who are not so well off as we are. Right? And interestingly, India, 70% of India's population is living in rural areas. So largely, internet is largely being currently, or the potential of internet is being fully harnessed largely by only 30% of population of India, and the remaining 70% of population of India. I think there is a lot more to be done. And what you have to do now is you have to ask the question to yourself: hey, which unlinked community of India do you want to link them to the potential of internet? And to do that, you have to identify your impact group. And Divya in the later part will explain what does impact group mean. Identify your impact group that is linked to the potential of internet, that if linked to the potential of internet could create a better future for them. India is a large country with 130 crore people. Right? Now, out of that 130 crore, you identify your impact group that you think through your technology, platform, application, whatever you want to do, could make their life better. And what you have to do is, I would ask you to do one thing before I end my presentation here, and then I'll hand over to Aniket. On your cell phone, go to your Play Store and download Telegram right now, because there will be a certain activity towards the end to be done using the Telegram group. And after you have downloaded the Telegram group, Telegram application, you have to write about your impact group on the linking the unlinked Telegram group. Okay, and we will share the link of the linking the unlinked Telegram group with you. So by 10th of September 2020 by 6 p.m. you have to write your impact group. Just write the impact group. Impact group can be, for example, farmers. Okay, impact group can be, for example, construction workers. Impact group can be, for example, maids. Impact group can be, for example, postmen, anything. Okay, technicians, mechanics, could be anything. Okay, so just write your impact group in the Telegram group by 10 September 2020, 6 p.m. Okay, and with that, I want to end my presentation here. Hope I was able to explain you the definition of the word vision. Vision as a process is a very critical first step towards innovation. Unless you have the vision, a powerful innovation cannot happen. And that is the message that I want to say as a closing statement of my presentation. And now I hand over to Aniket Duegar. Aniket Duegar is a wonderful person who has made a phenomenal impact on a very large impact group. He will explain more about it. His impact group in India is really, really very large and very powerful. And the impact that he's trying to generate is phenomenal. And I'll allow him to talk more about his organization called Haq Darshak, which he founded several years ago. And feel free to ask him questions at the end of his presentation, because he has been through the journey several years ago that you are going to embark now. Okay, so he is in a way certain years ahead of you in his journey. So use his experience to learn and ask as many questions as possible, so that you can also create your own innovative platforms. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for promoting vision as a process for this startup. The second speaker with us is Mr. Aniket Duegar, co-founder and CEO Haq Darshak. It is a multi-state, multilingual mobile technology platform that helps citizens discover, apply for, and benefit from government and private schemes that they qualify for. The point to be noted here is he has been awarded with the top young entrepreneurs of the Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia. May I request Mr. Aniket Duegar to address the budding technocrats. Sir, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sarosh, and also Amit, for the wonderful beginning and address. Hi, everyone. I am Aniket. As Amit mentioned, that I am the founder of Haq Darshak. It's a social enterprise, which I actually registered in 2016 Jan. I actually started. I finished my college in 2010. And then did the commerce degree from SRCC, and studying in Delhi. I come from Shimla, which is a very small town. So I think finished my college degree, and then was very clear from the beginning that I wanted to work in the social sector, in the development sector, and also using the technology, solving some problems. So that's how actually I started working with Teach for India. So right after my college degree, I joined Teach for India, which is a 2-year fellowship. Back then was very, very new, and I taught grade 2 students in Pune. Some of them are now applying for IIT this year, just got to know. So it's been 10 years. And I think there I worked not only with the students, but also a lot of the communities there in and around Pune. So about 100 plus families. So that was my first kind of experience with trying to see how problems evolve, how to identify them, things what Amit was mentioning just before me, that, to identify your clear value proposition, clear customer base is extremely important. And that's where I saw that all the families and all the members of the families, they were struggling with resources. And when I dig deeper, I saw that government actually has the largest amount of funds in terms of supporting any citizen. Our government spends about 10 lakh crore plus every year. But I didn't have a solution. I realized by year 2 of my fellowship that yes, I wanted to work in the community for the people, trying to solve some kind of information gap that is there in resources, but didn't know how to solve that. And that's when I started uh, working on in rural Maharashtra. Again, I saw that, while there are a lot of good ideas out there, NGOs are working, companies are working, but citizens again don't know basic information on government rights and entitlements. I worked there for a year and a half. Again, strengthened my resolve to work on a solution which solves this gap. But and slowly started by then 2013-14 moving towards it. So it's around 2014 actually I first started a non-profit called Hands for You Foundation. Because again, I knew that I wanted to work. I was itching to go on the ground, but didn't have a business model in mind. Hadn't tried things. This is in 13, 14, 7, 8 years back when there weren't no such forums like you guys have today right now to kind of have people who are supporting, mentoring, sharing ideas. So back then it was all about if you have an idea, go pitch and try and get funding. So we failed. So the idea of that 2014-15 phase 2 years is that I terribly failed in starting a non-profit. While my problem solution value proposition was clear, I didn't have a business model in place. I didn't know how to make revenue out of a problem of solving this information gap, ensuring people get last mile service. We learned a lot from a lot of pilots during those 2 years in terms of seeing that how citizens don't know how to get their basic rights, basic documents, basic schemes like pensions, insurance, loans. They don't have that information and service delivery. But at the same time, like I said, I couldn't figure out how to get that going on the ground. And that's around in mid 2015 is when I met one of my co-founders, PR Ganapati, who was a social impact investor, president of Wilgrow, Infosys and Tata executive, who kind of backed the idea and said that, let's try and start this as a social enterprise. And that's how actually, before even registering the company, I was incubated under IIM Ahmedabad's program in 2015 August for 6 months, which supported us with funding, which supported us with office space and a lot of tech support. So that's how we got started. And I'll just share my screen now and let me know if you all can see. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks. So that's how Hak Darshak was started. We essentially Hak Darshak, Hak means your rights and Darshak means someone who shows you the path. We started the idea in 2015 July and registered, like I said, the company in 2016 Jan as a private limited. I essentially, if you look at the problem in government, the scale of the government operations is massive. We are talking about central plus state, over 10,000 government programs. Even during COVID, you all must have seen the Atmanirbhar program. There is an MSME program. There is a construction worker program. There are schemes for street vendors. All these people who are actually socially and economically marginalized. The biggest challenge is that they don't know what is out there. Because the information is complex, because the rules are complex, they don't know how to go, where to go to apply for these programs. And some of the major, government last year, according to last year data on citizen schemes, has spent 9 lakh crores on social welfare programs, central and state. And these are some of the data points on some large programs like Narega, the Pradhan Mantri Kisan scheme, which is the scheme which you give to farmers, the cash transfer scheme. Then you have the Ayushman and other healthcare schemes now, which have got a lot of funding. So these are massive budgets. And for people who don't have digital and literacy access, some of these data points are from, just to give you a sense of, the kind of market size that is there. So a lot of times when you're thinking of your ideas, another important point to think about it, when you're especially projecting and ideating, that what is the market that is out there. For us, we are looking at all these government programs and the funding. So all these numbers are actually the funds that are available. So this is massive. This is probably the biggest market out there, bigger than any private enterprise, bigger than any industry. But 50% of this amount doesn't get utilized because of lack of information. So our major challenges when we were thinking of welfare schemes essentially was that people are not aware of different kind of schemes. If they become aware of names of schemes, they don't know if they are eligible, because each government program, each government service has its own rules. So the rules will be very different in Gujarat, will be very different in Himachal, will be very different in Uttar Pradesh, will be very different in Tamil Nadu. So you have to think of what is the local demographic. There are different eligibility criteria. So people who, again, really need these programs don't know about whether I am eligible for it or not. The third step is, even if when you know that you are eligible, let's say for a pension program, the process is very complicated. In rural parts of the country where 70% of our operations are, most of the application process is still offline. So you have to download a form, fill a physical form, submit that form, and then you are able to apply for a particular scheme or service. So we are also looking at some of the other social issues like accessibility, mobility, literacy, social status, because the kind of demographic that we are targeting faces all of these other social issues as well. So what are we doing about it? So Haq Darshak is providing this last mile service and using a technology platform. So one thing through my failures, which I mentioned earlier, that I had learned was that if you want to solve this problem at scale, and we are talking about 100 crore people, 1 billion people who are eligible for schemes. Out of 1.4 billion people, 1 billion people are eligible for government schemes and documents. So then we have to do this in a technology platform way, and or with a last mile service, because while technology is very important, you have to realize if your customer base is more rural, is going to be more at the bottom of the pyramid, then technology is going to be an enabler. It cannot be an end solution. It is a very important part. Any solution that you're thinking of today has to involve cutting edge technology, but it has to be used by people. So you have to keep that in mind. Especially in a country like India, most technology platforms work like this. So we've also been training women entrepreneurs in rural India who use this platform. So the first part of our solution, what we thought was very simple. It's a mobile app, Haq Darshak. It's on Play Store as well, where you can download, put in your state, put in your language that you want to use. All our content is in local language. English plus the local language, and you can put in your information or the information of someone you want to help who's working with you, for you, and then press submit and it'll tell you what are the schemes you are eligible for. So from the cloud of about 10,000 plus schemes which our team has digitized, so we have put in 10,000 government schemes on our cloud, put it in different local languages, easy to understand language, videos, infographics. And looking at those rules and the information that the citizen puts in, we are able to match it and easily tell the citizen, okay, you are eligible for these 20 schemes, 30 schemes, 10 schemes, and these are documents that you need. Then we also support this at the end. Once you know what schemes and documents, the second step is that people can either go ahead, use that information and apply on their own. But as you know, most people find the process very difficult because the process is complex. The government scheme process, I'm sure all of you have sometime or the other tried to get a license or a PAN card or Aadhaar. And for us who are literate citizens, have digital access, for us it's so difficult. So imagine it for a person who's living in a remote village in Chhattisgarh, how difficult the process is. So we have trained these village level entrepreneurs who are essentially women, who need to have a smartphone. Because all our content is in local language, they don't need to know English. And they are the ones who become our Darshak entrepreneurs on ground, and in rural and urban India, go door to door, support the families in getting the access to all these schemes. They are today making about 3,000 to 4,000. They're supporting about 3 to 4 by supporting the families for the scheme applications. The Darshak entrepreneurs are earning about 3,000 to 4,000 rupees a month using the platform. So our process focuses on training, screening through the mobile platform, discovery of the schemes, and then the application. So this is done for a fee, where we also get the different kind, the entrepreneurs make their income. So once we started thinking of, the different models and the entrepreneur model, we realized that just one particular entrepreneur model is not enough. So we started thinking of a different service and execution model. This is where in the first 2 years again, while the technology worked, the schemes worked, it great impact, we got a lot of accolades, prizes, competition wins. We realized that this is not sustainable. If we have to make it a sustainable, large scale business, we have to think of different service models and keeping your vision and mission the same. It is very important as entrepreneurs to keep pivoting, looking at what is happening around you. COVID has happened earlier, demonetization had happened, so digitization was happening at a faster pace, or certain things around government, good or bad events happen. So you have to pivot accordingly through your different business models. So the second model, which I talked about, the livelihood models, is the one where we train women. We have trained 5,000 plus entrepreneurs. They are making income, but they are mostly in rural India. In urban India, we saw a huge gap that workers who are working with companies like Uber, Jugnu, construction workers, factory workers, house helps, drivers, they don't have access to social security. Say they sometimes don't have bank accounts, they don't have health insurance, they don't have life insurance, they don't get access to loans, their children can't get into scholarship schools, and all of this is actually available by made available by the state and central governments. The challenge is that these workers don't know about the schemes and they don't know where to go about processing it. So we started working with companies like Uber, Godrej, Jindal Steel, Tata in getting their factory construction and drivers getting access to schemes where they pay us. And that's a very scaled up model now where we're working with 30 plus partners. And now especially with COVID, where a lot of things are happening purely from platform, we made our APIs open, which essentially means that we can now integrate with government, with other tech platforms. We're already doing tech integrations with about 3 state governments and 5 large corporates, where they can get easy access to the information for their workers, for their communities, who can get then access to schemes, and we do it on a licensing basis. So the service models, like you'll see this slide probably very clearly identified and articulated 3 platforms. It has taken a lot of time. It has taken a lot of hits and misses, where we have tried 10 things, one thing has worked, and then we have implemented on the ground. We have failed, then succeeded. So it takes time, and even now continuously we are making pivots and changes as and when it's needed. So during COVID, like I mentioned, we have launched the mobile app. Now earlier the agent app was available on with our entrepreneurs, but today we have the Hak Darshak app in all states, all languages, on the Play Store, which you can download and start using it and help the citizens who are around you. The other big pivot that we made, which was also during COVID, and why I'm talking about COVID here is because all of you who want to start with ideas, this is one of the best times to start working on your ideas, because the community needs there are multiple challenges which need to be solved, problems that need to be solved, but at the same time you need to be cognizant of this new reality of COVID, because it is not going anywhere. So it is not like you'll think of an idea and wait for COVID to get over and then in 6 months, 1 year start your idea. You have to think of challenges which are now going to be there for a long time. So one of the challenges we identified, not just in the last 6 months, but we've been thinking about it, is a platform focused for MSMEs. MSMEs are medium and small enterprises as identified by the government. There are 6.5 crore identified businesses in India. Small businesses, kirana stores, street vendors, small manufacturing companies. So these companies again don't know how to register. If you go to your nearest pan shop or kirana shop near your house, if you'll ask them, are you registered with the government, most likely they're going to say no. They might have a VAT or now GST registration, but that's about it. But they don't know what are the different documents through which they can get loans, through which they can get insurance, through which they can get subsidies. And the government is putting in a lot of effort and money there. So that's our goal with this MSME.Hakdarshak platform, where we are seeing that now, especially with COVID, small businesses need a lot of support. And it's going to be linked. If more small businesses survive and grow, that's how more livelihood will happen. So that's how more citizens will get access to more better livelihood, sustained livelihood. Because These are the businesses which employ 90% of our workforce. So this is something that in a very similar model, and all of this we were able to start from scratch and launch the platform in about 3 months. Same with the app. We launched a all India helpline as well, which has supported people during COVID. And last 4 months, now actually the number has gone up to about 100,000 families who we have supported with ration, cash withdrawals, documentation, government services, online applications, travel applications. And this is across the country. Where we have worked. Some of the different schemes we have worked extensively. Health and insurance, pension, scheme for farmers and migrants, all kinds of documentation. And interestingly, again, as Amit was mentioning earlier, a lot of these schemes are a domain in themselves. So people working in health, looking to work in health and insurance, there is a lot that you can find through government programs. If you want to work on social security, if you want to work on banking, any finance kind of idea, majority of the work, the base work is being done by government. So it will be very important for all of you to, if you're thinking of what next, what is the target audience, to see some of these government programs and these government institutions, how they work. How does an RBI work? How does an NCPI work? For anything related to payments, you need to look at that. How does the UIDI work as an Aadhaar integration? Because today, if you're not building a solution which has Aadhaar at its center, it's going to be challenging to scale it. So things like that is something that you should really look at when you are thinking of your customer base and problem as well. And in the last 2 years, we've reached 61 districts, 19 states, 7 cities. 3 lakh customers have got schemes. Overall, we've trained now 6,000 plus Darshaks. Over 4 lakh applications have been processed. We have digitized 7,000, close to now 7,000 schemes in 15 local languages. And through the government, we have delivered over 100 crore benefits. As the recent number, it's about 170 crores, which has been digitized and delivered through our platform to the citizens. And these are some of the partners, like I earlier mentioned, that a big challenge and a big need that will be there for all of you is to have a very strong vision and mission statement, which you identify clearly as you build your businesses, as you build your ideas. But all of this that is there on the screen right now has come from a lot of pivots and changes. So the important part of an entrepreneur is always to be ready for the right pivot, keeping their vision and mission the same. So you can't suddenly, if you're trying to solve let's say, access to health for people with disabilities, right? Now, if you're doing that, you suddenly can't pivot and change to online tech solutions, cloud solutions suddenly. But keeping the same customer base in mind, how can you keep changing and pivoting your business model? And that will happen as you work with a lot of partners, diverse partners, because a lot of changes will happen like that. So yeah, thank you. Happy to take any questions that any of you might have.
Actually, we'll have the questions after the ma'am session. So all in general can ask related with it.
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for directing the young minds and making them aware regarding the startup and the welfare schemes. The third speaker, who is a change maker at Innovate4India, director at Fifth Note Music School, is Mrs. Divya Kalra. Her purpose of life includes crowdsourcing for New India, volunteering for India, and so on. She possesses the top skills like e-commerce, startup, entrepreneurship, social services, etc. So may I request her to provide insight about linking the unlinked challenge and the submission format. Ma'am, please.
Hello everyone. Thank you, Aniket, for that wonderful presentation. It was very, very inspiring, the kind of work you're doing. And thank you, Dipali ma'am, and all the faculties and the SCET College for giving us the opportunity to launch this Innovate for India challenge in your college. So I'll share my screen and you tell me if you're able to see. One moment. Okay, so do you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's visible.
Yeah, just one moment. Let me make it a full screen mode. Yeah, okay. So, linking the unlinked, I think we've been talking about this. It has become the buzzword in the last 15 days to all of you, I believe. And hopefully you've already been thinking about it. And we want to put in more and more thoughts. Food for thought will keep coming from us for you to go on. So, what does this picture tell you? I think you have seen. It's a very common picture to be cited in the in any any public area today, in any public place today, and the numbers are very intriguing. 650 million internet users in India by 2023, and it is a very common sight. What is very interesting here is that there are 227 million rural Indian, people who are connected, which is more than urban India. So, for the very first time in India, more rural Indians are connected online than the urban Indians. And that clearly means that there is a lot of opportunity. And like Amit also mentioned, that there is, in terms of urban India, there are, I would say, comparatively, it's a saturated market. There still is a lot of scope. But rural India is a very, very upcoming market in terms of internet. So there is a lot of products and solutions and services that can be made with, which can make a difference to their lives. So we'll take a quick, a moment to do a bit of self-reflection. So when I was born, I have seen the three stages of internet: no internet, with internet, and a life with a lot of internet, like exponentially, exponential kind of growth in the internet world. I think all of you have probably more or less lived in the internet world, and especially when I'm talking to the students. So if you could take 1 minute and write in the chat box, what all do you use the internet for? So what do you use the internet for? I'd like to see what all you would like to say in the chat box. To learn new things, searching, education, entertainment, surfing. To learn, to connect, for entertainment, shopping, social media, gaming, freelancing. Cool. Actually, for what not? That's right. Learning new things, surfing, education, YouTube, every work. That's true. Right now also you're chatting through the internet, right? Because of the COVID, we are not face to face. I'm personally trying to sell my artworks now. So the people who are doing Suchitra is doing selling online. So cool. Exactly. So there's just so much that you could do, and we are using the internet for. Now, I have tried to write this list down, and of course, this is not a comprehensive and full list because we could go on for the next couple of hours if I did that. But just a few things, we are using it for buying and selling, we're using for education and learning, dating and matchmaking, seeking and sharing information, networking, communication, gaming and entertainment, and the kind of value that it's providing us. It's providing us convenience. It's providing us efficiency, convenience of, whether it's shopping, job searching, looking to hire someone. It provides us integration. It provides us hope and motivation, when it comes to watching TED Talks and listening to a lot of webinars nowadays. And financial wellness, also making money is by buying or by selling different kinds of services and goods. Then easy information access, wellness and health, developing skills. So if you want to develop, let's say, graphic designing skills, you can do it in a few hours of course online, and you can do it at your own convenience. You can learn music online. I'm learning dance online. So a lot of things can be done. Then social needs, it fulfills your social needs in terms of social networking and WhatsApp and many other ways. It reduces anxiety. It also of course, entertainment needs are fulfilled, and belonging and affiliation in different kinds of groups and things that exist. And all in all, it's connects the world, right? So, yeah. So now we come to our challenge. The challenge that we intend to, launch is in very clear words is what applications, technologies, websites, platforms, systems, or models can be created to link the unlinked communities of India to the potential of internet for their better future. So here we are talking about any kind of technology that you want to, instill, or you want to use existing systems and build a model around that. So, and it can be a combination of offline, online, it can be just online, all kinds of, distinctions you can put together. But the important thing is that this is to be done for linking the unlinked communities of India for their better future. Now I'll take a few questions around. I think, and I'll know how many of you had been reading the messages that were being sent. So you have to write in the chat box, fastest fingers first. A company saw the need for passengers to get taxi on call, right? And on the other hand, passengers needed a taxi on a taxi is needed to find passengers with less wait time and without having, in the vicinity of where they were. Can you tell me which companies are these? Okay, Ola, Uber. I think this is a very easy one. I try to keep the easy one. Okay, yeah. So exactly, it's Ola and Uber. So there's a next one. A company saw housewives. So housewives. There is a very interesting thing. Thing about housewives. First thing is they have a desire to earn. Secondly, they have a very good social circles. So they're very social and have a lot of friends and family who they're connected to on a regular basis. Thirdly, they do a lot of shopping, and plus they also look for recommendations from each other for shopping. So this is what that company saw. On the other hand side, they also saw thousands of standalone suppliers, online and offline, seeking sales channels for their products and service for their products. Can you guess which one is this? Okay, great. I see Misho answered by many of you. Okay, cool. So that's right. That's Misho, and Misho is, like for example, it's using what is very interesting is on the one hand side it has an app, on the other hand side it's making an integration with the existing system of WhatsApp and Facebook. So the ladies who are it's primarily focusing on housewives, but of course anyone can do the selling. But so the housewives who want to make an extra income with this, they could use their existing platforms like WhatsApp and Facebook, which they're familiar to, for doing all these sales. So the third example that I have is a company saw 130 plus million blue collar workers. So these are technicians to security guards to people working in the factories. They saw these people who were seeking jobs, and on the other hand, on the other hand side, they also saw companies who were looking for well-trained or semi-trained workforce in the blue collar space. Which is this? There are quite a few companies. Which one do you know of? Okay. Urban Clap, yes. Urban Clap is one. Although I'm not giving the example of that one, but yeah, Urban Clap is definitely one. Urban Clap is more for electricians, and Upwork I don't know, but maybe it is. Maybe you want to check your WhatsApp, so you will find the name there. Okay, all right. LinkedIn, okay. I'm not sure if LinkedIn is in this space. Okay, so it's actually Better Place, and you should really study this company, because what they're doing is they started with the core of hiring, and now they have a lot of other value added services for the workforce which they realized that was needed. In terms of skilling, in terms of even providing them loans on the basis of their credit rating, which they maintain on their platform. So it's a very amazing, amazing kind of like how they have diversified into many different areas of keeping the blue collar worker in the center of the whole solution. So the next one is, okay, this is the last one. So with the growing e-commerce in the country, there was one company which saw that there was a need for very fast hiring, hassle-free hiring, and very in masses. And they knew that all these people for the delivery personnel. And they also knew that delivery personnel, hiring them, they wouldn't all, it would be very hard for them to get all on another app and so on. So what they do is they use WhatsApp with these kind of people who they want to hire, and the hiring is completed in less than 24 hours in a very secure manner. Okay, so which one is this one? Okay, I'm not sure about Czech. Okay, the one that I'm mentioning here is again something. It's a great company you should really study. It's Vahan.co. Now we go to the point of we go to what we think we want to impact. So there are some of the students who actually messaged in the group, which was very nice even before the challenge was launched. I think Dhiren mentioned about farmers and Keyur mentioned about construction workers. And also there were some great ideas from Brijesh. So yeah, it's always good to use the Telegram group for, validating your ideas. Share, the more you will share, the more questions you will be asked. You're not personally asked that question. Don't take it in a personal way, but learn from those questions, because it's better that people, grill you on what your idea is, and you can really come out and try to bring out those answers in your business solution, in your solution. So I'm talking about the impact group, and we are primarily focusing on the new online users who are not currently using the potential of internet. So some of the people that come to my mind are street hawkers, gardeners. If anything is not covered here, you are welcome to put in the chat box. Street hawkers, gardeners, slum dwellers, construction workers, farmers, truck drivers, rural children, handloom workers, artisans, garbage pickers, maids and servants, dhobies, and so on and so forth. So let's see if you have, okay. All right. So this is just to give you some idea. You can take a screenshot of this if you want to study any of the impact groups for your solution. You're welcome to take one from here. Now we come to the questions that you must consider in this phase. Okay. So the questions that you have to consider in this phase is first and foremost is the impact group. So, what is very important is, when you're talking about linking the unlinked, there is a very interesting thing that you need to note. In most of the case, in a lot of cases, you might be impacting two groups. Like in case of Uber, in case of Jugnu, in case of Better Place, your impact groups are two. So, for example, if one are the suppliers, and the other one is the standalone suppliers that they are targeting. The other one is the housewives. So if you're targeting two impact groups, it's very important that your solution centers around your main impact group and the support impact group. So you have to study it from both aspects, because it's like a give and take relationship that you're trying to build with your linkage. So it has to be a win-win-win for for your solution. And when I say win-win-win, I mean the main impact group, the sub-impact group, and you as a solution provider. So all three, you should be able to coin on a win-win-win solution for the three of them for this thing to work in harmony. Okay, so that's the key most important thing. The second thing is, of course, what is that problem that you're trying to address? So when I say that you have to keep this impact group in the center, go ahead, talk to them. Don't assume. Don't make assumptions that, so for example, I'll give you an example. For a lot of companies actually failed in India, when they entered. Danone is a very classic example which failed in India. So it's very important that you have to keep your impact group in the center. So Danone is very famous for yogurts, okay, in the Western countries. And when they started in India, the price point was not correct because they did not realize that Indians are actually making yogurts at home. Okay, so it's very important that you have to study your impact group, keep them in the center. If you have a certain assumption that this is probably their need, you go and check with them. At least 20, interview at least 20 or 30 of them to find out, is the problem really a problem for them, and is that problem a grave problem? Okay, so that's a very, very important thing, that you keep your impact group in the center of your business or social enterprise or solution. And then the second thing that you need to see is what is the problem that you're trying to address. The third very important aspect is, how are they currently solving the problem? See, they definitely have the problem as on today, which you have identified, but they must be having some way around to that problem. So the solution that you want to build, is that solution better than the way around that they have for that problem currently? That is a very important. Otherwise, it's very hard for them to switch on in their with whatever offline model that they have for currently solving the problem. Your solution has to be better and much more giving them a better value. So that's another important thing. What will change through your solution for the impact group? This is again very important, that what is it that you're planning to change, what is it that what is the kind of change that you bring in their lives. The next one is, are there other solutions existing in India solving the same problem? See, there is always there is a tendency that we want to think novel, and we want to come up with a new idea. It's good to do that, but when you come up with an idea which is already existing in the market, it's already tested. So you have some case study, okay, this is successful. So how do I make my solution even better? Or if that solution is only existing in the south of India, let me bring it to north and west. So this can also be a good solution. It's always about the impact that you want to build. And so, as I said, how your solution is better than what is existing in the market currently. And the next one is the roadmap for the coming months. Of course, once you've figured all that out, we would like to see at least a rough roadmap of what you have in mind for the next few months. So we know that you at least have a forward-looking approach to your solution. Before I go to the, scaling the criterias of the criterias of shortlist, I would want to just highlight one thing, because whenever we are talking about, like even Hagdarshak, Aniket mentioned that for him it was also, he took some time to see what their revenue model or what their business model could be. See, whenever we are targeting bottom of the pyramid or people from the weaker sections of the society, their paying capacity is low. So you'll always need to find a counterpart, which can make the model to be sustainable. So this was one point that I just wanted to bring forward, and you can obviously ask, Aniket, how he went about. Although he shared a lot, but if you want to ask later, in once the question answer starts. So then comes the shortlisting criteria. See, this is. I'd like to say one thing here is that it's important that you think of the idea in the ideation phase. Take a lot of time interviewing your impact groups and group or groups, whichever the case may be. And it's not about winning or losing in this innovation challenge. See, if you come up with a great idea and you actually are able to make change, a real change on the ground, this does not even matter. But then, of course, because we are running a challenge, there is a set deadline for doing certain activities. So this is what I would like to, and this is only to give you a direction of how you should proceed. Okay. So first is, of course, the impact, meaning how large is the benefit for your impact group. The second is the clarity. See, clarity comes with more, as in the more, I'll tell you with my experience, the more you talk about your idea to people, whether it's your friends, whether it's, picking out people from LinkedIn who are in that space or have some experience with that, impact group or somehow related, reach out to them. Nowadays, people are very open to, giving their time. Reach out to them, conduct their, discuss with them your idea. You will keep refining it, keep talking to more and more people, and this will bring you a lot of clarity about your own idea. So this is something I'd like to see, what kind of clarity you've generated over the 4 weeks of time that you have in your ideation phase. about your thought process and how you are.
Like what?
If you're trying to, yes, ma'am. If you're
Yes,
trying
yes.
to bring someone along with us to collaborate, we pitch our idea, and if they don't like and they go ahead and do some kind of change in that idea and they publish before us. So we have to keep in mind that there are going to be such kind of scenarios.
That's not what I meant to say. See, like example, if you look at Aniket's example, now in Aniket's example, he is partnering with corporates.
Yes, ma'am.
He's collaborating with
Yes, yes.
corporates. And corporates are
Bring
not interested in
someone
creating
along
Habdashak
with us to
applications.
collaborate.
Corporates are
We pitch our idea,
interested
and
in
if they
creating
don't
welfare
like
for
and
their employees,
they
for the
go
blue-collar
ahead and
workers or
do
people who are in the
some
rural area.
kind
So
of
such
change
kind of
in the
collaboration. Now let us say a
publish before us. So
competitor
we
of
have to keep in
Habdashak
mind
is
that
there, but his ability to
there are
collaborate
going
with
to be such
corporates is
kind of
not there.
scenarios.
While Habdashak and competition would have a similar application. Aniket's example, okay? But Habdashak, for example, would have a higher capability to create collaborations with the corporates, because corporates are going to help him scale it up faster. If he goes to one corporate with 600 employees, in one shot he is going to access 600 employees. Whereas his competitor, if he does not have that capability to collaborate, then he may not grow that fast. That's what I meant. Is there, but his ability to collaborate with
Okay, I got it. Thanks.
I'd just like to add, especially in the beginning, when your idea is just born, very first stage, and it's very immature, it is good to talk with people. It's just, the benefit that it brings to you than someone who's talking. So, especially if it's a novel idea and it is not there already in the market, then you should open up and talk to more and more people about it. My experience has been that the more you talk, the more questions you get, and your idea only becomes more refined and clear about it. And when it comes and especially, and if it's not a novel idea and it's something which there are already people doing it, you should reach out to them and ask them how they benefit that it brings to you.
if you're looking at a financial arrangement or financial partnership, that becomes a challenge because that's a recipe for disaster. Because our government systems are hinged on individuals and not systems, unfortunately. You might find that great IAS officer. What happens is a new officer comes who might find that great IAS officer. So your business and revenue model cannot be on government, but your skill can. Officer comes who might get a lot of access to. So your business and revenue model cannot be on government, but your officer comes who might get a lot of access to. So your business and revenue model cannot be on government, but your officer comes who might get a lot of access to.
In addition, the collaboration